My god, man, I used to love Japan so much, and well, turns out I still do. I definitely had a period where I fell out of it and nothing quite hit like it used to, and I thought, well, that's it. I had a burning passion for Japanese history, culture, language learning, anime, and manga, but I guess I'm now past that phase of my life, and I don't like it anymore, and that's the end of it. And I tried to fill that Japan-shaped hole in my soul with trying out learning more about other cultures and learning other languages. And that was a genuinely good thing to do. For some time I was learning German, and I've been to Germany many times now and absolutely loved it. It's such an underappreciated culture with excellent food, bakeries on every corner, stunning architecture, and I genuinely find the German language to be really beautiful. And almost every German person I've met has been extremely funny or charming. And for some time I was also interested in learning French, until I met French people. But it never quite stuck around like my interest in Japan did, because Japan, man, how should I put this? I remember going to Japan, walking around in these suburban streets, and being hit with this overwhelming wave of nostalgia. Like, have I been here before? Am I going insane? Why am I getting this overwhelming feeling as if this is connected to my childhood? Did I reincarnate? Was I Japanese in my previous life? And then it struck me. Oh yeah, I grew up playing a lot of Japanese video games. Everything here looks like Pokemon. And maybe because I grew up listening to a lot of video game music, I've always had a preference for the sound of Japanese pop music. Even anime, a thing I felt wasn't for me anymore, has come back stronger than ever. I'm just a lot more selective now. And not even to mention the sheer amount of Japanese history, culture, and extremely strong regional differences. There is an insane amount of rich history in this land that is extremely interesting. Even so, for a long time I couldn't help but think, is this who I am? Is this a part of me I should move away from? Am I getting too old for this? Because I'll never fit in, and I don't want to live in Japan or work in Japan, and maybe I'm actually missing out on other things by only focusing on Japan stuff. So maybe this is a waste of time, and maybe I just look stupid. However, all of this is a part of my DNA now. Trying to move away from it and learn more about other things has only made me appreciate everything Japan even more. So the Re-Weeb'ening is very real. And although there is a part of me that should feel that this is cringe, there is another part of me that can say from experience that the Japanese people I have met have thought this was a big positive trait. Turns out my genuine appreciation for their culture, history, and media is met with genuine positivity, which is still strange to me. Years of browsing the internet informed me that this would be met with absolute disdain and I should do my best to hide it. And I've yet to experience that. Quite often, the reality of things is that people are very mundane and don't have extreme views about anything. But if something grabs your attention more, then it certainly can feel more true. And I fell into a hole where everything felt genuine or true because it was negative. I thought I was skeptical of my own interests to develop myself further and gain a richer perspective. But turns out when you think you're being clever by finding reasons not to like something, you're just training yourself to disqualify anything that is positive. And it's strange to talk about being a weeb nowadays because it's not that special anymore. Wow, a guy likes things that millions of other people also like? Amazing. Get in line. Every now and then I think about the availability of Japanese candy, anime, merch, manga that was available when I was a teen, and the contrast to today is shocking. Going to a nerd shop and seeing the huge walls of manga and seeing teenagers discuss these things in public? What has the world come to? When I was a teen, I was made fun of for liking this stuff, so maybe I just accepted that this was the norm and this was how things would always be. But I wouldn't be surprised if teens today were made fun of for not liking anime. The presence of anime in social media, memes, and pop culture is inescapable. It's almost like you have to watch the latest, most popular anime to understand the latest memes and pop culture references. So yeah, I'm actually gonna side with the bullies on this one. About 10 years ago, I studied Japanese at university, but I failed one of my courses for a really dumb reason. I was too sick to take the last 2 tests, but no biggie, I'll just try my best at the retest, the final test you can take if you've failed or missed the previous one. So I did one test and thought, surely the next test is going to be here as well, right? Maybe I should have double checked, but I asked a classmate, hey, the next test is going to be here, right? And he said, yeah. So I had lunch and came back and waited until I realized the test is about to start now and I'm the only person here. Turns out the test was not here, the test was in a different building in a different part of town. Why did that guy do that? But earlier this year, I realized, wait, university in Sweden is free. I could take the test again if I feel like it, and while I'm at it, I could also attend the classes again to refresh my memory, go study Japanese again just for fun. So now I'm in my 30s, back in school, and the class demographic is shockingly different. Back then, the most common answer to someone studying Japanese might have been they were studying martial arts, or they liked cooking, and they wanted to travel. And today, it's just dominated by Japanese pop culture. The introduction to my course was entirely based on Japanese games and anime, and the examples of finished degrees were all about how students had written academic work surrounding One Piece, Ghibli films, and the Like a Dragon Yakuza series. No one's even pretending to be into something else anymore. This change of environment has been a bit strange. Suddenly, I'm in a place where I could openly say, I love this kind of stuff, and people would just say, yeah, that's why we're here. And of course, actually having traveled to Japan has changed a lot of things. I had built up so many ideas about why traveling to Japan might not live up to my expectations and why I wouldn't like it. But once I was there, those things didn't really seem like that big of a deal. That's not to say that Japan always lived up to my expectations, but instead, I learned to appreciate things for what they really were. So, what would be my advice to myself who was growing out of this phase, or anyone else who think they might be losing their interest in Japan or Japanese media? Yeah, you should learn more about other cultures. You should try learning more about other languages. It might be something you would genuinely care for. I would say that my appreciation for history, language, and culture has expanded as a result of that. But I still have my main interest to come back to. And also, don't be afraid to go deeper. Maybe you've only scratched the surface, but you can't see that yet. You might be tired of anime right now, but what about trying out the classics? What about going back and watching stuff from the 80s to 90s? Because you might think this is it. The loss of a Japanese economic miracle has led the land to ruins, and we'll never see season 2 of Nichijou. Japan is over. When really, what you like about all of this is going to continue on in some way. The shell will be different, but the substance will be the same. It's very possible that my enjoyment of Japanese media is rooted in nostalgia, because that's what I grew up with. So there was also this fear, am I getting too old to be into this kind of thing? Isn't it time to let it go? Without really considering that, at this point, most of my favorite artists are 50 to 80 years old, and they're all still obsessed with this stuff. Can you imagine having that wealth of knowledge behind you? Someday I'm going to be a very cranky old man, and I'll take pleasure out of every moment of it. Odds are you're going to fall in and out of love with the things that you care about, and that's fine. Take your time with things. Everything doesn't have to be with the utmost passion all of the time. At some point, if there is only one thing that you are passionate about, it might be that you are hitting diminishing returns because you lack a greater perspective. It's time for a break and see what else you're missing out on. And when you do feel like you might have lost interest or burnt out on the thing that you really care about, don't make a YouTube video about it. But also, I'm getting older, and as people around me have begun to disappear, it has made me very aware of the shortness of time. And as I've grown to mature, I've also begun to realize there's no reason for me to continue to try to be friends with people who just put me down or belittle the things that I care about. I don't care how much time we've spent together. I can just say no and go. I'm done with being polite. The fear was that I would not find new friends and I would be all alone. But instead, somehow embracing what you enjoy eventually leads you to the right people. Life is too short not to pursue the things that you care about, and those things will come and go. What you like will change. Everything will change. There's no group where you will feel as if you truly belong. There's no identity, ideology, political party, belief system, or faith that will make you complete as a person. And that's fine. You don't have to belong anywhere. Nothing is permanent. And once it's all over, you won't even be able to look back at a single thing you have done. So why not pursue the things that you care about right now? And until things change further for me, enjoy 500 more videos of Mattias talking about Japan. Someday this channel will be nothing but travel vlogs. Okay, bye everybody, bye!